Welcome to the Your Message Received podcast. And now, taking your message to the finish line, your host, John Duffin.
Hey folks, John Duffin here from Duffin Media. Welcome back to another episode of Your Message Received. And folks, if you're watching this episode, you're seeing a lot of hand gestures here. But I don't get thrown. Your Message Received is the home, the platform to help you find your best, most true, authentic voice. Get what you want, find what you need, improve your results, meet the person of your dreams, make billions of dollars. I'll get back to you on the steps of those last two, but most of the rest of them we can do. And when it comes to authenticity, the reason we can say point blank this is we can help you find your best, most true voice is we use this platform to bring people on who absolutely walk the walk. These are, like I said, today is no exception. I get to introduce the creators of the upcoming animation big splash, the Comet Casino. Miranda Parkin, Scott Parkin, welcome to the show.
Hey, John.
Hi, John.
You win the award for shoehorning as many catchphrases into an opening as I've ever heard. Get what you want, take what we have, close the door.
Oh, don't hurt anybody. Don't hurt anybody going out, and don't tell a soul.
Let's
That's to me.
Let's just try to have a nice time. That's what my mom used to say. Can we just try and have a nice time?
We just try to have a nice time here.
We try like really hard.
Right. So yeah. I got to meet folks. I got the pleasure of knowing Scott. By the way, my path to Scott Parkin was through another voice coach. Scott is a master of improv, America's commercial actor, which we don't take lightly here at Duffin Media. Seriously. And when I was talking to one of my coaches, my myriad of coaches, I should be doing so much better. Everett Oliver said, John, you need to do something in regards to improv. And if you do that, there's only one person you should be speaking to, and that's Scott Parkin. And Scott, that's how I got to meet you.
That's fair. And I had I'm starting, I stopped coaching towards the end of the year because we're in the last part of sound design and stuff.
Right.
Comet and going on vacation, but I'm getting ready to coach again, and I'm very excited about that because if you do it a whole bunch, it does sort of wear you down. It burns me out. So I stopped for a while, and now I'm back at it, and I'm really stoked to do that. I had a great time with you, buddy. It was real fun.
I feel the same way. And Miranda, actor, singer, animator.
Where?
What did you say? Ghostwriter?
Actor?
Me?
No, actor, singer, animator, and creator of something that is terribly exciting to me.
Oh, well.
I look, it's funny to me when I see, like I said, like with a father and daughter duo, right? And Scott, I remember you saying to me, hey, this is, I know there's way more people involved in this project, but it's basically a father and daughter duo.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Miranda and I and my buddy Ed Yeager, who's a veteran, 25 years of television writing. So, and there have been a myriad of people that have helped along the way. But in the end, right now, it's Ed writing up pitch documents, us learning them, and trying to get in front of people and pitch it.
How did the idea start?
That's a great point.
Actually, it started from, I made this like art piece of a girl and an alien man in a barn.
Look out.
I'm like trying to think about it. I'm thinking about it. It was a girl and an alien man in a barn. And I was like, oh man, like what if a CIA agent or like someone who worked in Area 51 actually got transported to space? I was like, that is such a crazy idea. What if it was a casino? What if she had to like pay off debt at a casino? And I was like, I don't really like that so much. Maybe we start it with her in the casino and she's already there. And, and it just like, it twisted and turned and, but my core idea was I wanted to make something about a space casino. I really did. And I figured there was a lot of episodes in media, like in Cowboy Bebop, or like even in Star Wars, the newer ones, they have like a scene at a space casino. But in Cowboy Bebop, they have one episode. And, you know, even in Rick and Morty, they have an episode where they go to like an arcade Dave and Buster's type thing. But I'm just like, man, Space Casino, that sounds like such a cool idea. I want to stay there, you know, instead of just have a one-off episode or, you know, a scene in a movie. And I wanted to stay there. So I was like, man, what if I just held tight to that idea of Space Casino, and it kind of twisted and turned until it turned into a father-daughter story about.
Okay, I'm going to stop you because we took this to Ed, and Ed said, okay, kill the mother, because it was originally the mother and the daughter. And
you mean literally kill the mother, or just ixnay?
Well, she passes away like any good Disney movie. Do you remember that, Miranda?
Yeah, I remember.
You guys have no idea how to fucking tell a mother-daughter story.
Natural causes. Is that it? By natural causes.
Right. We don't know. We'll experience that in another season.
No idea.
But we handed it to Ed and said, make something of this. And we got Swampy, Ed, Meg Ryan, Bill Daly.
Swampy's the co-creator of Phineas and Ferb, by the way, which is really cool.
And our guiding light and her mentor. So immediately took the mother out of the picture, made it a father-daughter story. And then Swampy came up with this incredible idea of a life-extending automaton. And then we went from there. And then we just beat the story for several months, mostly Ed Yeager did a lot of the heavy lifting. Miranda and I had a lot of early drafts and episode ideas and arcs for characters. We had all of our found family, Sleeper, the MMA fighter, Wings, the old crooner, and Hendrix and Bale and Aunt Maisie. We had all of those characters, and Ed really hammered it into a thing. We had all those characters because Miranda designed all of those characters for the voice actors who agreed to play them.
So in essence, rather than working it backwards, having the characters all fleshed out and then actors trying to become the characters, you're picturing the individuals and like, you know what? This would work for them. Let me write. I gotcha.
Can I say this? I was asked to be divorced when Miranda was 3, and I'm a voice actor. I was with ICM at the time,
right?
And then CBN. And when I would go, I had 50% custody. So I had for a while, I had a toddler with me at all my auditions, and Miranda would hang out in the lobby with Billy West, Tara Strong, Maurice LaMarche, Gary Anthony Williams, Lorraine Newman, and Mindy Sterling. So those people all knew Miranda since she was 2.5 years old, actually, to about 2.5. So I would have her with me. And so when we got to the point where we want to build this found family, Em designed the character. She designed Sleeper for D. Bradley Baker, she designed Wings for Billy. She designed Hendrix and Bale for Gary Anthony Williams, and she designed Maisie for Tara Strong. And all of those people, when I asked, said the same thing because they've watched this savant not grown up, but nor am I. But what's the point of that? And they all said the same thing. Anything Miranda's doing, I'm involved. They've all been involved in her art and voiceover career her whole life. So that's why we have that A-list. Gray Delisle, we met later and have followed her for probably 10 years. And Miranda's a giant fan of her work and who she is. So originally Miranda was going to play both Harper and Sib, but that just didn't make any sense. So we asked Gray, and because Miranda was working with her on some other art, and she said yes, and she just crushes it. She crushed it. She's also the stewardess in the opening run of that little.
It's my favorite part, and we'll get to that. It's my favorite line.
Hey, can you test this?
Well, guess what? The answer is we are going to put a piece of that in as well too. Absolutely.
Perfect.
We can do this. We'll do the shortened version as folks you're going to see. As I said, as this goes live, you're going to get the shortened version. But it's my line that I hope it is where as long as you're gambling, they have to keep bringing you free drinks.
That came from Lake Tahoe in 1986 when I was there with my friends, and we didn't have any money. We had very little money. We were
Ah.
trying to sit at the table and look like we were gambling. So they would
As long as you look like you're gambling, they
As
have to
long-
keep bringing
Oh,
you
hey,
drinks.
there's a winner. Didn't put any money in. I didn't put any-
Walk me now. I'm
5 of those. Thank you.
not going back as far as 1986, but I'm going to ask you this. So, Miranda, when was the first time, in terms of whether it's your artistic journey or whether it's your writing journey, your singing, when was the first time, as you're getting led around to all the audition rooms, you're 2.5 years old, when's the first time it occurred to you that I got something to say?
That I have something to say. Well, when I was, I think 3 or 4, I recorded in a I recorded like a birthday. No, it was just a sing, like it was just a song. It was Daisy, Daisy, you know, it was that song. And we recorded it on a CD and sent it out as like,
You were at LA Studios with
right,
with Tim West.
with Tim,
Oh my God.
right.
No,
So-
I'm sorry, Margarita Mix. It was a million years ago.
Right. So it was, you know, I was like really young and I just sang the song and they were like, oh, you know, she's got a good voice. Maybe she should, you know, read for a couple of things. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm 3 or 4 and I love to read
No,
out loud.
You were literally barely 2. You were 2.5. And
Yeah.
I played that for Jeff Danis at ICM and he said, you understand that she corrected for pitch, right? She started out too low and corrected, and that doesn't happen. I was like, I don't know. I just think she's cute. She sang. I was doing a AT&T commercial and had some extra time, and we recorded it. So, and then I think to Miranda, it was all fun. It was just
Yeah, it was all fun. It was all
like,
fun to me. I was
you're-
like,
you know, she's 3.
I was like, I love reading things out loud. This is awesome. So I did that a couple times. I ended up booking a SeaWorld commercial, a Miami University commercial, a couple of other things. And I was up for the role of Lucy in a direct to DVD Peanuts movie. And my mom didn't take me to the callback because she was like, you know, I don't want you to be a child actor. And, you know, and of course, Jeff was like,
successful and
you know,
confident.
right. So all of that aside, in between ages 5 and 16, I was doing choir. For just because I love to sing, you know, it's really fun to sing in a choir. I had a great time. So I was doing all those in choir and I was used to taking direction for my voice. So when I moved to my dad's house full time, I was like, I want to do voiceover again. So I feel like I've always had something to say. I just never really had the chance to say it in between the ages of 5 and 16.
Well, during that time, you also did Peter Pan. You did 2 roles.
Right. I did some middle school theater, which was very fun. I had a lot of fun.
On the west side of Los Angeles at the middle school she was at, the tech guy, father, had just finished work on the Avengers. So they had a giant like voice manipulating. They did the Wizard of Oz.
Oh my God.
But that's where you get there. And then
So it was crazy.
the choreographer had just finished his run on Stomp. So it was like, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was very cool.
See, and to me, I love this because it's like that sort of expressiveness. So that the reinforcement that you're getting, not just because you liked it, not just because it was fun and easy, but because like even the tech stuff is working in your favor. That you don't have like these slouches that are, you know,
Right. And
like,
I mean, like all throughout choir, I was also like doodling. I was, you know, because I have an attention disorder. So I'm like, you know, let me do something with my hands. So I would doodle and I never really thought of it as a career up until the second year of high school, I think. So I never like took any art classes in elementary school or middle school or whatever. So I never really thought of it as
year in high school. I think
Yeah.
first.
that was my first, in the second year of high school. So art class, right.
and did
I
you
was already-
teach it? Did you teach the class or
In that class, but I'll say in honor choir, because I was the chaperone to the Disney competition. I couldn't believe anyone would give me in that kind of position. But her music teacher, Miss Ventry, correct? Is that correct? Phenomenal. These people were really, really important to Miranda because the divorce was really a very difficult time for that person, for me as well, but for that person. And so these art things, these counselors at school. They were just insanely important at every level to support Miranda. And Miss Ventry was like, you know, she has perfect pitch, right? And I said, I know she hates baseball, and I don't know what perfect. And Miranda explained that she can match a tone. So she used to leave Miranda in charge of the warm-ups for the choir when they were like, Miranda, take their scales. And Miranda would conduct because she can do all the parts. I think you started as an alto, right?
Yes.
And then you moved to soprano, and then I don't know.
I moved to soprano 2, and then I moved to soprano 1. And when I was in madrigals, which is this a cappella group in middle school, since the tenors didn't really have it, Miss Ventry was like, hey, can you just, you know, pick up the tenor part? And I'm like, hell yeah, I can. I know those parts. Because I was like, I was listening to them for the last like 6 months. So like, of course, yeah. So I felt very confident in leading the tenors. But it was also really fun because I got to hang out with my friends and like go Christmas caroling. Like, hell yeah, what middle schooler doesn't want to do that?
Well,
you know?
Especially when you're good, but you just want to do it anyway. Scott, what was it like? So Miranda comes back at 16, right? Through like a lot.
Well, listen, we had 50-50 custody and 7 court battles. So I was taken to court 7 times to try and take my custody away because I was an unfit parent. The other party in this is got a lot of issues that Miranda has been able to get through with a lot of help and both of us. So it wasn't coming back. It's no longer safe for me over there. I'm going to stay here.
Got it.
So that it wasn't, you know, I had fought really hard for every moment that I got with this kid. So when she started full time at this house, what was your question? I'm sorry.
No, all I was going to say is the adjustment back. So now you've got like typically, I don't know, not being as creative, thinking that it's like you want to be in an easy environment, you'll create better. I don't know, right? And so you were coming from difficulty in this regard. You make the choice, Miranda, I'm going to be here full time. This is where I want to be. When was the first time you're thinking that you could collaborate with Scott?
Well, I mean, we've always like had, you know, a thing where we would like make up funny bits and, you know, and in the car or on the way to a soccer game, but we would always like continue the bit and be like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we did this? And we would always do like funny little internet videos, you know, growing up. My dad like would, you know, like film these like little things of like me being dropped off at middle school, and I would be the annoying, you know, fuck you, Dad, get out of the way. You know, that character, which is not very different to who I am today.
Right today. Right.
Right. So we would always do like these crazy, you know, little internet videos. And then, you know, we worked on a bunch of like little cartoon ideas together that, you know, they didn't really, you know, go a certain place. You know, we worked on like multiple little pitch ideas. You know, we had an idea for a kid's book, and then we turned it into a cartoon. And
what was the other one? The anxiety for the anxiety.
Panicky friend.
My panicky friend.
So you know, it's
great. And also, I feel I still have hope for Witcher's Wharf as well. Yeah.
So we just would, you know, collaborate on all these ideas, but I never really like finished them, which is not a bad thing. You know, you can be an artist and have thousands of unfinished projects. But the real like crazy part was when we actually continued with an idea. So with Comet, it was a lot of, you know, is this going to be another Witcher's Wharf? Is this going to be another thing that we don't continue? But somehow, you know, after kind of beating it and actually bringing in other people to help, I think bringing in other people to help is really the part where it gets going, because when it's just me and him, you know, we come up with some great ideas, but we don't have, you know, a feel for
is it viable?
Right, is exactly. When you bring other people in with you, it feels more real and more solid. So we had a bunch of writer sessions and
they all went, this is great. This is fantastic. Because the art came first. All generated by Miranda. And the art came first, and then that, and then we started showing it to people, and then it was like, hey, this is you know what, damn it, we're gonna do this. So in the meantime, you know, she's working, she's doing a lot of voiceover,
right?
She's you know, an independent artist, commissions, and she's at college, you know, so it's not a straight line by any standpoint.
No, God,
You know,
no.
for better or worse, when Miranda was, I had a toddler all of a sudden, and I had no idea what to do. So we spent a hell of a lot of time watching science fiction and cartoons and comedy. There's my buddy Ed, who's on the show, wrote a show about my life as a single dating dad, and it got on the air at CBS. It's called Gary Unmarried. Jane Curtin, Jeff, Paula Marshall, Ed Beakley Jr. So Miranda spent, you know, years eight, almost to 9 on set at CBS Radford around all this. So she and I are constantly jabbering with inside jokes, and she's, because of the perfect pitch, you can teach her an accent, and she's better than you and like Australian. I originally taught her Australian. At this point, she's fucking better than me, right? When you start, you have to say something in order to
yeah, no. So like I actually do an Australian character in a project that I'm working on right now. So I actually do that.
What
with
about
no setup and no warm up and no nothing?
Could you do a Scottish character if you had to?
I mean, like I could, you know, like if I was presented with the opportunity, like
what about a working class girl from down London way?
No, I mean, I don't know if that's like the best accent I have, but I think that I could probably pull it off if I was like presented with the opportunity to do something like that.
Well, the fact of the matter, God, I love that. And the fact of the matter is that you can literally do that on a dime. Has to be great. Scott, you taught me in one of the classes that I remember. Like it was you that showed me that being improvisational requires a lot of prior work and a lot of prep. So do you think, Miranda, for you, that it's like having that ability, you had perfect pitch, you were able to like just do that, but as you were saying, for months and for years, you were hearing different things, you were studying the craft, so to speak. Do you, obviously, I know that helps you now in terms of what you want to do, but are you still a student in regards to the craft itself?
I feel like everyone is always a student. I mean, I have room for improvement in everything that I do. And I'm sure, you know, you do too. My dad does.
I know I do.
I want you to know, Miranda, as a coach, not everybody, you know, the Rich Creamery butter story.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying
John that story. There are a lot of people that don't. Miranda absorbs content and seems to me to be always learning. She's booking a lot more voiceover than I am. So she's doing something.
Yeah, but you've got the Tide commercial, and that to me just makes me abundantly happy. Scott, by the way, and folks, if you are ever watching television, including right now, you still see the Tide commercial come up where I'm
the bald guy.
Well, you're the one that alerted the nation, by the way. I feel like an amazing public service that you alerted the nation that most liquid laundry detergents are 90% water. Did you ever get pushback from lobbyists or anything like that? Because that was...
Turns out the others are mostly water, John. Yeah, I do. I cut Miranda off to tell her to say, because she was saying everybody's like that, and they aren't. But
I'm saying everyone has room for improvement.
Agreed. But
yeah.
A lot of folks don't do that. I still
teachable.
I still train with people. I train with Tom Pinto. I learned from Jeff Powell. I mean, I think you have to. You have to keep learning. And Miranda has always been a sponge for that shit.
I love that. So you now have the wheels moving. You're past the point. I'm walking back just a couple steps where you realize the casino in space is a must-do. You've now started to, you're creating the process. What was the creative process like for the two of you with this project? How does that work? Or do you are you formal in regards to every day we're going to do X, or is it
Does it seem, I know it probably seems like I run a pretty tight ship here, John. As you look around at the,
I was gonna say clearly
at the twinkle lights and the crap all over. No, we're not so formal. We do, we travel a fair amount. Like we go north to see my mom, who's massive influence on Miranda and
Mhm.
stepped in the darkest of times. So we travel a lot and we pitch ideas. I would say, we know what we have to do if there's
Mhm.
like, look, we need some more A, B, and C. But as far as the writing goes, that
Mhm.
part's been done for quite some time. The
Mhm.
last part, we took the idea to Swampy Marsh and Bernie
Mhm.
Pedersen at Surfer Jack, and they built the staging animatic and hired
Mhm.
Miranda 2 months
Mhm.
before we even got in there. So Miranda got to work on it there. And then after that, Miranda said, I want every frame to be my work and I want to add characters and it'd be funnier from this angle. And I like this and this background. And we hired her roommate, who's a wonderful artist, Lauren, and they did some backgrounds, but most every frame you see is M.
Mhm.
So the last
Oh,
3.5
God.
months have been
Mhm.
painstakingly,
Mhm.
like she would send me something that they've been working on for hours and
Mhm.
it was 6 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so it's been in that hands. When we wrote it, and right now we're pitching for the
Mhm.
pitch Bible and the pitch deck and all that. We're pitching
Mhm.
ideas and stuff with Ed. So we all get together and bounce ideas around. And Miranda and I, when we traveled up to Santa Barbara and hung
Mhm.
out with my family, our family, sorry, but I don't think it's no longer a formal thing.
Mhm.
Mostly it's just been Miranda driving the art bus for the last 3.5 months.
Mhm.
And then now we're into Ed is the driving force behind the pitch and what we're going to
Mhm.
say in the pitch meetings.
Mhm.
And then it's going to be all on Miranda. She's going to really be carrying the weight of the pitch because nobody wants to talk to two fucking old white guys in their 60s when you have a 22-year-old non-binary genius. You let them carry the ball. So that's it's going to be on her, and we're pretty stoked.
I think you ought to be really stoked. Let me ask you. I brought this up to you last night, Scott, when we were talking prep before the show. One of the things I noticed, one of the things, and it was even in the longer version of the preview, like in the animatic, like in the full
The
preview.
animatic itself.
Yes, what
Yeah.
I found
The whole thing. There's nothing else. That's it. That's
real.
all.
Thank you,
10
guys.
minutes,
That
10 minutes, 10 minutes is it. You get in, you get out.
But it's a lot. And what I noticed, what I loved was I realized that you walk a really fine line in a great way. And I've noticed this with a lot of, whether it's animated or sitcom shows, they often make a decision, which is in episode 1. Are we going to grab you right away with a strong plot and a storyline? Or are we going to invest the whole first episode, so to speak, in letting you know who everybody is and their backstory? And I oftentimes, with a lot of shows, see an either or there, which becomes problematic because just randomly telling you about a bunch of people that you don't have any skin in the game for doesn't make it terribly interesting. And nothing but a heavy plot when you don't even know who the people are is tough for me too. I
Well,
think one of the things that you did, forgive me, I didn't mean to talk over you. One of the things that
no,
you
I'm
did
talking about
amazingly well, was introduce all of the individual characters and still have a moving plot going in the animatic, like a legitimate moving plot, including the relationship with Harper and Dad, as we'll say, at this point.
it's okay. Eventually, people are going to find out that the dad was killed, and he's in a Leah. So it's
Natural causes, and just stop breathing.
Well, I'll tell you where that comes from.
Mhm.
That comes from Ed Yeager, who's a veteran TV writer. In a
Mhm.
good pilot, you want a couple big reveals and twists. You
Mhm.
want to let them know who everybody is, get them invested, and get the
Mhm.
fuck out. So
Yep.
that's really Ed and Miranda's art style that moves. That's
Mhm.
why the first 90 seconds you learn where we are,
Mhm.
why Harper thinks it sucks, why
Mhm.
she's back,
Mhm.
and what the world we're
Mhm.
in and where we
Mhm.
might be
Mhm.
in 90 seconds.
Mhm.
So that's Miranda's art style, and
Mhm.
Ed's writing
Mhm.
is what makes that thing move like that.
And speaking of, it's I just remember being caught with that right away. That sense of you, Harper, Miranda, begrudgingly walking yourself back in.
Yeah,
to
we
there.
really like that breath that she takes before she enters the casino.
Mhm.
And we actually added in, I say, because we did a, and I said, shouldn't there be like a, like that? And we added that in. And Tim West, who did just phenomenal sound design. He's at Rebel Alliances. And interestingly enough, was at Margarita Studios when Miranda was 3 and recorded Daisy. So 18 years later, he's our guy. And he's done phenomenal work on that. He's worked a lot on Halo and all the giant movies, and he donated his time for us to go to a studio and just hours. Some of those moments, like in the casino, there's 25 different sound sources. And he merged all of them, and so yeah, the pacing of it, we're really happy with it. That's Ed and Miranda. Wouldn't you say, Em?
Yeah, I think the pacing was like a lot me and him, because I'm kind of a stickler for tone. And
she's a tone Nazi.
Okay, so tell us what you mean by well, so Nazi I got, but tone.
One
of the things that I don't like is sometimes when a show will switch the tone. Like one example that I can bring up is Haunting of Hill House. I really enjoyed that show because it did establish itself as a horror show from the get-go, like boom, bam, horror show, right? But at the very end of the episode, they start turning it into like something, all I can describe it as is like lighthearted, like country music, like whoa, yeah, we're gonna resolve all the plot issues, yeah, like I just came out of nowhere, and I'm like, why don't I like that?
Because they invented a term called "jump the shark" about 40 years ago on Happy Days,
but
it's more like the change, the shift in tone rather than running out of ideas, because they had a great idea for the whole time.
Yeah, it was great.
Stick to it.
And Miranda will point that out to me because she's much more. She absorbs so much more content, is more astute at it. I'm like, why don't I like that? Why doesn't that work? And Miranda's like, well, they started out being funny and lighthearted, and now they're trying to teach us a deep lesson. Like
that's Lauren. That's Lauren. That's our.
Hi, I'm a roommate.
That's the other artist that did amazing background.
Oh, hey.
So yeah, so Miranda's very conscious of tone, and so I think
I love it.
That's what a tone Nazi is.
Because I wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure that even though we are going into those, you'll see in the pilot, or if you haven't already seen, if we haven't already shown the clip, but there is a part
I'll
of
make it
it
easy for you. I didn't mean to talk over you. I'm going to show the clip at the very end of our episode, so that this way, just know. Anyway, there you go.
Perfect, great. So in the clip, you'll see that we do switch from a kind of regular, animated show style, do a cutaway gag, and it is all in this old-timey 50s animation.
Can I help John with understanding what it is? It's
sure.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all
it's like
to the lobby.
50s style, like they did something like that in Loki as well. Anyway, so even though we do switch to that, like as a fun little like cutaway gag to like show backstory, we still kind of keep it adult. We show like, someone getting choked, someone dying, someone going to court and being sentenced to death, or whatever. So
but it also moves the story forward too.
But it also moves the story forward, but also like going back to like tone, it does keep the same tone, that we've established is kind of this dark, wry, and kind of witty sense of humor. So like even though it is switching to that, we still keep it the same. So I feel like it's got the same tone throughout. We don't get hit with a crazy whoa love story, or whoa something else.
Thanks for that. John, thanks for the explanation. That's
John, can I hit you to something that I didn't know? I just called because Miranda's really great at that, and she loves old grocery store music and Wim Wenders, and is that am I saying it right?
Like the Seaberg Music Library?
Yes.
Like Muzak and stuff.
Yeah, but the guy, Wim, is it Wim Wenders?
Oh God, what is that guy's name?
It's the guy. Anyway, I always called that style of animation, let's all go to the lobby. And she goes, no, it's UPI. It's
UPA.
UPA.
United Pictures Animation.
They were in charge. They were like the go-to animation house from like 1940 to 1972. So that's why all of those, all those little educational films that your friend the Bumblebee is the sun is the engine for all of the things. That's why, and the intermission stuff. That's why it all looked like that. And Miranda's great at that. So they were like, I want to do this. I want to talk about college in that style. So that's how that got put in there. And like they say, the tone is the same as the show. It doesn't deviate too much, though the art style does.
No, but the cutaways are exactly that. They're cutaways, and they're, in essence, you could look at them as like breaks in the action, rather than the whole cast becomes X, or let's all send them on a trip to Hawaii, you know what I mean, or whatever, right? Like
that's coming.
Oh, well, thank
That'll
God.
And they go off world to deliver some sort of weird currency to another.
Well, where do you see in terms of like, so now it's heavy pitch mode at this point. How would you like to see this play out? Like where would you like to see this, like not necessarily the platform itself, but how do you see this evolving if you have your way?
I mean, I would love to see us being in charge and it being having a lot of creative freedom. I'd love to see it at Green Portal with Justin Roiland, who is a big fan of Miranda's, who did Rick and Morty and Solar Opposites. We think we fit really well there. I love Apple TV is starting to get more. Apple TV Plus is starting to get more, and Miranda also has a connection there. So these are places we're going as soon as possible. There's a couple different ways it could go. It could go where they go, yes, Ed's your showrunner and you guys are in charge, or they could go, we want to buy it outright and put our own people in it. Either way, we'll be happy if we get the meeting and get in front of them. What also might happen, they might go, we're not interested in this, but we want this person in charge of this thing that we've already put 20 million into because it's in trouble. And her art style and her attention to tone and understanding of this at age fucking 22 is something we're going to invest in. I would most like to see it, on television with us.
Yeah.
But the thing this has always been a table setter for Miranda. I'm 60 and all that stuff sounds like a lot of work. I'll be 61 in March. So I'm good with just doing the voice and pitching jokes and stepping back and letting Miranda run the thing.
Do the 21-hour days. Very giving and selfless.
I'll do that.
That's great though. But that's and there you go. And that, like, I'll have fun with it. And that, to me, that just defines it to a T. When you are having fun with something, when it matters, like I said, when you get to say what you want to actually say, it's unbeatable.
It is, but it's very. I mean, I wrote on a network show. I wrote on
right. So
I know that the network throws your script out at 1 a.m. and you shoot on Thursday and it's Wednesday morning. And I've seen it just eat people alive. So it's very intimidating and scary as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what have I set my daughter up for to go into this meat grinder of a thing? But by the same token, drama? Yeah.
Trauma. You set me up for trauma, Dad. Thank you.
There you go. Right.
Find what you do when you do that. That's what I say.
Do what you love.
Do what you love.
He died doing what he loved. Getting traumatized.
But the energy that you carry, Miranda, just the look on your face and all that stuff, it's like, yeah, okay, fine. Whatever. It's fine. I'll do it.
I love it all. It's so much fun to me. And I think like doing what I love on a day-to-day basis, whether it's pitching things or reworking things to maybe make it get pitched again. I've got this like, the fun part about having an attention disorder is that, you take the meds to focus, but when you're not focused, you can have like a bunch of other random different ideas and get hyper fixated on different things. So, like right now I'm hyper fixated on this, like this is all I want to think about. So, it's a really fun experience to be able to grasp hold of something so tightly and to try and get it to where it needs to go. And if that doesn't work, boom, attention disorder. I got the flag. Do something else.
Right. And when you're on a show, you've got multiple levels. So the other thing is we're both voice actors and we come from that.
And damn good ones.
And we've had the kid is I think you got some Burger King running right now or Taco Bell. Have one of those?
Yeah, Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Anyway, because we come from that and the community, we've sold, 14K worth of merch. We bought 14K, at least that of merch, but everybody in the voiceover community and the animation community that Miranda knows are all supporting us. So when we get through the net, everybody gets up to bat. We remember who helped us. We remember who rooted for us, who shared the stuff. Well, we're not going to be in a position to go, all right, you're the killer, but we're certainly going to be able to say, I want to see these 10 people for this role. And we can also work really hard to get ancillary roles in a show because normally they try, because if they get you for one character, unless it's in your contract, they can get you for a couple others.
Others as well.
We're going to try and spread that out as much as possible because we're voice actors. That's where we come from. And the community has been so damn supportive of us. We have very long memories for who works for us and who even a like or a, hey, good job, you guys, that counts to us.
Well, I love this. Now, Miranda, you're wearing the basic black uniform of somebody young and together. Scott is actually modeling the merch, some of the merch as well. Now, I know there's an Instagram site that had like the Comet Casino. These links, folks, you don't have to have us say www. We ain't doing that. These links will be right there to click. But to buy the merch, where are they? Like I said,
we've been so show focused that we sort of closed down the store for a little while. So because it is folding stuff, spinning out, and me going to the post office a lot, we're going to relaunch the store. So when this airs, the store will be relaunched, and they can go to.
I don't know the link.
Oh, it's there. We have it there. Don't worry. That's what I'm saying. We're not going to make
CometCasino.shop.upwood.com, something crazy like that.
Oh my God. Right. Hashtag. Don't even sweat that. That's what I'm saying, folks. You do not have to read every hashtag and period.
I know. And sometimes it feels to me like I'm like, hey, Mozart, go clean your room. Little stuff is a little work. We haven't worked on the store in about 3 months because
Mozart, go clean your room. Nice. But between the merch, following along. There's, like I said, following along Instagram. I think it was Scott that you had said, I wouldn't know, but I said that's where all the cool kids go. You've got the Comet Casino. Like I said, that link will be right there as well, too. Correct. Where else would you like people to continue to follow along, to cheer you on, as we say? You know?
I would say Miranda's site, her page, is how many followers you got at this point, Em? 102,000, and that's a great place to find out where all the Comet stuff. Miranda's building the Instagram site specifically for the Comet. That isn't done, but you can always find out what's happening on the Comet on my page, Scott Parkin Actor Instagram, because I'm young at heart.
Oh,
and Miranda
and hot.
And at Parkin Art is on Instagram, is where they are. And you can find them there almost every day. So they put out
this will all be there. Last question for each of you separately. Miranda, what would you say is Scott's most memorable trait, or what you, like I said, what you lean into the most?
Memorable trait. Memorable is a strong word.
The one you like. The one you like. I'll soften it up.
Pretty forgettable. I have to be honest, there's a dullness. I think the thing that I like, one of the things that I like most is that he's incredibly persistent, for better or worse. Because sometimes that goes in the wrong way and we'll get an overstock of something, or hey, let's try spray painting, and then he buys me a bunch of spray paints and I'm like, I spray painted one time, and but also it leads to stuff like things getting made. Like, I don't know if I would have ever continued the Comet if my dad hadn't been so supportive, truly, because it's like, on
to the next thing.
Sure. This sort of swag, it just all goes past me. So if he hadn't been so persistent in saying like, this is a good story and I want you to continue it, I would have probably never continued it and just gone on to the next thing and keep making fan art. So, you know, it's ultimately, I think, one of my favorite things about my dad is that he's so persistent and supportive.
Thank you for that. And the dullness, I'm guessing, like I said,
he's still forgettable. You forget about him the second he exits the room.
But the
he
persistence,
comes in, you don't even know.
Scott, you get a turn to play. Scott, you get a turn to play. Mr. Parkin. So for you, what would you say is the and we'll take memorable out. That didn't work well for me when I asked it that way. So the strongest trait, the best thing that you see in regards to Miranda as a person and or an artist.
I mean, I could probably go on for quite some time, but the thing that always amazed me through everything is that she's a survivor.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, no, you're here. So
I could die at any point.
Shut up, dude.
There's a chandelier.
Dude, this is
a comical
my
chandelier.
Wait. And she takes a compliment exceedingly well.
No,
you go
I don't.
Oh, there you go.
Miranda is a survivor. The stuff that they went through as a kid, you know, I had a fantastic mom who I call every week. She didn't have that. In fact, she had somebody actively working against her. So I couldn't imagine getting through that. I would have folded up the tent. And just day to day, her work ethic and how hard she works at this. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, she's so amazing." I'm like, they are, but they bust their tail hours and hours and hours. And I would just say her perseverance and her ability to survive. I mean, besides that, she's literally one of the funniest people I've ever met, and I've been around comedians and master comedy writers. Thank you. So she's because listen, I've done comedy with this kid since she was born, so we have a very similar, dark, offbeat, stupid sense of humor.
Yeah, man, I came out of the womb with a stand-up mic.
That's not true. That's not true.
I've never done stand-up. I'm lying right now. I'm lying to you.
That's why you have to leave a room through the side window. But the
we're right here. Jump out.
Bye. Lovely note. I would say perseverance, survivor. You know, the way they're able to get through stuff that I think would have crushed me at 21. At 21, I was working at a raft rental for joints and beers as tips, trying to get girls in rafts. So this is going supremely better. She's got a shit ton of money in the bank. She works her ass off. She's got the world, but at 22, she's about ready to sell her first pilot. So she did every frame of the stuff you see. So it's just light years ahead of anywhere I was at 21. I was just starting to get into radio, and I thought that was cool because you meet girls and hand out tanning oil and you can be high. Yeah. Basically me in Sacramento.
Well, folks, we are going to end this episode with the clip from the Comet Casino. But before then, I get to say goodbye only for this moment. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. Miranda Parkin, Scott Parkin, thank you both so much for showing up for me. Really appreciate you both.
It's a blast.
You're so welcome.
Very much. We're honored to be on. We took what we could get and we got what we need.
See, I'll never be able to do the intro or the outro right. Well, I only do it the intro. Nobody has time to hear it as an outro.
Oh, it's actually really solid. Don't change the thing.
No, it's a great outro.
You're very kind for this, or whatever I choose it to be. And I rotate that. You bring up the without the medication. I rotate that back, forth, up, down, sideways. But I am thrilled for the both of you. Continued success.
Thank you.
And great good luck, folks. We will all be following along for more with the Comet Casino. And as for
if you know of any animation, it's just me and the kid Ned. We're not a giant company. And we're going at this about as backwards as you can, having a logo, a cast, and merch, and a thing. So anybody knows anybody at any streaming service, any television, I don't care if it's a local, the penny, somebody at the penny saver, I don't care.
The Trader Joe's Fearless Flyer.
Do it today.
Do it today. Seriously,
America's commercial
so
act, right? America's commercial actor. My pleasure. And Folks, this is John Duffin here from Duffin Media. Thanks so much for tuning in to Your Message Received. And that wild applause as we head out. Enjoy the animatic to the Comet Casino. Folks, have a great day, and we will be back soon. Be well, all. Bye.
Attention passengers, we will be landing shortly on Luperith Omari. Please return to your seats. If you've morphed during the flight, please regenerate and buckle up, okay? And remember, as long as you look like you're gambling, they gotta keep bringing you drinks. Good luck.
Luperith Omari. Everybody knows it as the Loop, the #1 adult playground in the galaxy, and the armpit of the fucking universe. Everyone is thrilled when they get here and broke and disillusioned when they leave. That's just after a weekend. I spent the first 18 years of my life here.
On the Loop, after high school, you pretty much have 3 choices: bartending school, dealer school, or alcoholic gambler. I wanted something more, so I went to law school on the nearest planet. After graduation, I took a really good job as a defense attorney. It's difficult and none of it comes easy, but it's somewhere else, and that's all that matters. So, what am I doing back here? My dad, owner of the formerly luxurious Comet Casino, passed away. How? He just stopped breathing while a guy was choking him to death, which on the Loop is considered natural causes. The Loop is 100 miles of casinos, clubs, and general debauchery crammed into a thin band of oxygen. Everything else is toxic. My dad used to drop off associates in the desert when it was time for them to die of natural causes.
And now, making its way across the finish line, Your Message Received has been a production of Duffin Media.